Hello everyone, this is Darker Joe. So today's the Balance Patch preview. I have not seen it yet. I'm going to go through it with you guys the first time. Sorry if I'm quiet or, not high energy. I just woke up and it's like 8 a.m. So, Alright, please, for the love of God, buff a little bit. Or at least, just buff a little bit. But give us, actually worthwhile buffs. Let's see. Are you... Not even looking at it. They're only going to be buffing 6 heroes and 2 artifacts. I swear to God. This would be like one-line buffs. This would be like no freaking thing. And everyone, it's going to be like the stupidest thing. It's like... Because they push back these balance patches by two weeks on the one before this and then this one. Because they're afraid of it affecting the World Championship. Even the last balance patch had literally 3 freaking nerfs. And the only thing that was even remotely good was the Sylvan Sage. Which definitely was not strong enough to affect the World Championship. So I swear to God, this better be something good. Okay, first of all, I'm happy about Abigail and Alencia buffs. I think they both do need it, and I would love to use both of them more. Shooting Star Arcades is cool, so I'm fine with that. They're buffing Lionheart Ceremia again. She got buffed She was buffed last freaking right before the last freaking tournament too. Meanwhile, Lilibet has been touched in 3 fucking years. She hasn't been buffed in 3 years. Same with Designer Lilibet. Both of them has not been buffed for 3 freaking years. Judge Kisei for the 3rd fucking buff in the past year and a half. Pirate Captain Flan doesn't even need a buff. Why? Pirate Captain Flan was perfectly fine. Otherworldly Machinery and fan of Light and Dark. I swear to God, Smilegate just hates Lilibet. I swear they do. They ignore her every single time. It's her actual story in this, her summer side, her ML story for Designer Lilibet. It gets ignored. It was one of the first ones added, and it's still only 6 chapters. Meanwhile, everything else is 3 seasons in. I swear to God, these are at least good freaking buffs, not this one-line buff bull crap. Judge Kisei used to attack on me, dispelling all buffs with a 100% chance to make them unable to counterattack. Blah, grants next turn cooldown. So, of course, because everything in this game has to have ignore effect resistance. Screw fucking ER units, right? Text all enemies dispelling all buffs before applying 100% chance to decrease hit chance for 2 turns and 100% and 75%. Wait. Text all enemies to site dispelling all buffs before applying 100% chance to decrease hit chance for 2 turns and a 75% chance to decrease defense for 2 turns and increasing combo range by the cast by 25% per target. Wasn't this kind of similar to what she did before they changed it to what she was before? They literally changed her into the whole, unbuff, cannot proc, they can have by counterattacks, and then but she literally did this more or less the same thing. I think the only thing she didn't have was, I don't know if she had hit chance decrease before this current change. So they're just wasting a balance patch by basically putting her back to what she kind of was already did. Attacks enemies by distorting space and time, increasing cooldown by 1. Grants, that damage dealt increases with more enemies. One-line changes, increase damage dealt. They just removed this, so now she always has extra damage. Also, Kisei is a cleaver, or Judge Kisei is a cleaver, cleave unit. Don't we already have enough fucking buffs for cleave units? I mean, Frida is for anyone, but it's mostly gonna be a freaking abused by cleavers, right? Because they want to use their ML Ludwigs even through Rebellion. And Festive Ida is kind of becoming a fucking cleaving unit. So the last 3 units, 2 of them were already cleave units. I mean, of course, Ilnav is not a cleave unit, but... Oh, look. So they're removing Fighting Spirit for Lionheart Ceremia, but they're not doing that with Designer Lilibet. Of course not, right? Why wouldn't they? Who cares about design a little bit? No, no. Let's just give Lionheart Cermia everything. All right, Fighting Spirit. They just ruined the Fire Spirit. Wait, how does she actually function then? Wait. So she doesn't get. She's not no longer get any Fighting Spirit at all. Ally attacks. She loses her cool. Wait, did she not? Oh no, they moved it down here. So after an ally suffers an extra attack, counter attack dispels all buffs, and then fully down to cast and activate Shine. That can activate once every 2 turns. Emits a light, increasing the defense and ER of the caster for 2 turns, increases the counter by 20% before resetting the cooldown. Yeah. Is that how it's worded here? Oh no, she didn't have a cooldown before. Now she just gets it resetted when she procs this. And then, yeah. Begins the first with full cooldown. So you need to have this activated to really pull that off. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. Because why not, right? Lionheart Cermia is the skin unit, right? So you gotta make sure she's good again. Because instead of, I don't know, fucking nerfing Politis, no. We're just gonna go around it. Every once in a while, we'll make some of these fighting spirit units actually usable through her now. Instead of nerfing her, right? No, she doesn't need nerfed. Not that half the fucking game is all about it's gonna get destroyed by one unit. Power Captain Flan again. Literally did not need a buff. What did they do to her? So they moved her extra turn to increase the effect chance to 100% and decreases defense of the target. And now she death breaks on the S1. Oh, but she doesn't steal buff anymore. That's this was kind of huge, though, because you could actually hit someone with immunity, steal the immunity, and then bomb them, and then proc it. Now she can't steal the immunity. Also, you can't really use this into like one-shotting what's her name Spirit Eye Selene now, because you can't just steal the immunity off. No, you can't steal the immortality off the Spirit Eye Selene, and then bomb her, and then once you stun, you kill her with someone else. So this kind of makes her a bit harder to use into Spirit Eye Selene. But wait, they're dropping her effectiveness? Wait, what? Okay, so she's losing her effectiveness, but she's getting increased critical hit resistance by 70%. When attacking, she used to have the redirect damage to the front row. Now it's just when attacking, cannot trigger critical. I always do that. When the enemy has a buff after using a skill, activates Time of Pillage. Can only be activated once every 3 turns. Time of Pillage grants pillage and increases increased effectiveness for all allies. Pillage, after attacking, steals 1 buff from the target, applies to heroes only. So basically, they're getting rid of her built-in like Aureus ability, like you get a 30% damage reduction to the front row. Now she's just not gonna have that, but she's gonna have 70% critical hit resistance, so that she could be even tankier. Because you're probably gonna run her with an Aureus holder anyways, more or less. You might, I mean. And now she's gonna give effectiveness to everyone because again, fuck anyone who actually wants to use effective resistance, effect resistance. It's Smilegate literally shits on this stat every single balance patch. There has been not any buff to affect anyone with effect resistance base or any effective resistance in general. They have never buffed it ever. And before you say Christie, I mean, Christie's initial release, sure, but Christie's specialty change did not do anything for effect resistance. They even refrained from giving Christie extra ER during her specialty change. For whatever reason. Because we're like, that specialty change is too, because we're like, oh, effect resistance is too strong. We gotta nerf it every fucking time we can. Every unit that comes out, every balance patch is going to have ignore effect resistance on every single balance patch. Every single time. There's going to be at least 1 or 2 units with ignore effect resistance every single balance patch. There's almost always usually too someone who gets free extinction too, because again, screw Lilibet. Why give the OG unit buffed? Nope, we're going to give everyone else extinction, which I bet you Alencia or Abigail is going to somehow get extinction. Because I haven't got to those 2 yet. Again, Power Captain Flan did not need a buff. She was perfectly fine. Kisei, Judge Kisei, yeah, she needed a buff, but like it felt like half of this was more or less what she did before her this change. So it kind of pisses me off because it was a waste of the spot. Also, in the end, she's just gonna be another Cleave unit, which she always is. And then guess what? We get Cleave is even stronger. I can't wait because Cleave wasn't already abused last fucking season. Lionheart Sermia, like, yeah, okay, definitely needed because if you ever wanted to use her, you're gonna have to use you can't basically if you're fighting like CPAN and Paladus, but it's like, what would design a little bit? She was in an even more greater fucking more destroyed state than Lionheart. Nope, don't need that. Please have Alencia and Abigail at least be good buffs. I need like. Let's see. Oh, look, it looks like 1-9 changes here. Oh, it's not. Alright, so this is what at start of the turn causes, curse enemy. Okay, this is the S2? Yeah, the S2. Okay. That does make her a little bit better here. Alright, I can see this. Dispels all debuffs from the target, and then grants immortality and vampirism. That does make her a lot more better, because now you can actually use her into, let's say, like Briarwitch's area. Because Briarwitch's area kind of just makes Abigail kind of useless because this, if your backline is hit by unbuffable, it's just your Abigail is pointless then, and that's actually really nice. So this is a 1-9 change that actually makes sense and actually is good. But thankfully, it wasn't the only thing that she's gonna get. All right, that dispels all buffs. Okay, increases of this attack. All right, that's fine because you don't really want to give effectiveness to her, so it's like having effectiveness built in on her S3 is pretty nice because it is a pretty strong ability, dispelling all buffs from the enemy, and then you hit them and injure them. I don't know if this is gonna I would say this would actually help. Wait. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. I'd say this is actually a pretty good buff. This actually might make her definitely more viable because you're not afraid of unbuffable to your backline anymore. So, which means, wait, it does dispel all buffs, right? Yeah, it dispels all buffs. So, it's kind of like Senya. How Bride Senya is like, but it's not as bad. But now you put her and Bride Senya on the same team with the backline. That backline is never dying because they're gonna have 2 ways to get full cleanse now. Oh my god. Okay, but Abigail's a good buff. These are only 1-9 changes on 2 skills, but that's honestly enough to put her back in to usability. I mean, injury is still gonna screw her over, but she's also another injury too. Use it too. So, all right, Alencia. Oh my god. Let's see what they're doing here. They look like they're not doing much at all. So she's losing her soul burn, increases skill effect to 100%, decreases defense, which is I really like the soul burn. To increases. Oh my god! You guys see this? Seriously, as someone who likes to spam like ER units, can we stop? You already gave someone ignore effect resistance in the same fucking balance badge, and then 2 units get effectiveness in their skills. Like, I like it because that'll make her scary. Cause, she can guarantee to hit the death break into the follow up on any unit in the game now, which is nice. And it's good for like even PvE content too. You don't have to worry about getting hit by the 15%. Ooh, okay, wait, I like this though. Increases critical hit chance by 20%. That actually allows her a little more freedom. So wait, was she losing injuries on her S3, right? No, she's losing injuries in her actual built-in ability. Wait. At the start of the turn, at the 100%, grants Mind's Eye, and, okay. She gets 20% crit chance. I think this is before. Is this before or after the upgrade? Because if this goes higher, then I might consider it worth it. At the start of the turn, 100% Mind's Eye, after Eradicate, Trample extra skill. Increases the comberness of the caster by 15%. Damage dealt increases the portion. Okay. The Mind's Eye. When attacking... inflicts injuries there. Okay, cool. So she's not losing injuries. They just moved it into her ability of Mind's Eye, but they're dropping the effectiveness of Mind's Eye because we're like, well, you can just soul burn it. Wow, Mind's Eye actually had 50% effectiveness on it. That means that you used to be able to death break units, but now you have to soul burn the death break units. When attacking, it inflicts injuries. It's max about up to 10%. I think it's how much it always was. 10%, yeah. Okay, so they're giving her extra crit rate, and then they're moving the injuries into the ability of Mind's Eye, but they're dropping the 50% effectiveness. But at least they're putting the S1. They're already giving you the soul burn. So it might be a nerf overall if you don't have soul burn, but if you have soul burn, it's amazing. Because then your soul burn, you're guaranteed a death break, and then you get more crit rate for her, which might upgrade more. Actually, yeah, I think I don't know. Was it damage based? I don't remember if they might. I don't know. Oh wait, and then increases effectiveness to caster when using Genocide. It decreases combat readiness of the target when using Genocide. Genocide is the S3, right? Yeah, because this is Eradicate no blood. Wait, so her S3 is going to have a pushback by 20%. The only thing is, though, you're not going to have any effectiveness on her, though, because you're losing the 50% effectiveness from Mind's Eye. And you're obviously not going to build her with effectiveness, so... Overall, though, so Abigail definitely is going to see play now, for sure. Alencia, I don't know. This is really nice, though, but I don't think this is be enough to push her into play. She still doesn't really offer enough to the team. This might help a little bit, give her some safety, plus, obviously the defense buff for your team. And always making sure you can death break a unit is huge, but I don't know. We'll have to see, though, because injury still just screws her over, too. I'm just happy that she still does really well with injury. I mean, she does have this, though. So she has built-in CR push of 15%, and if you have your own artifact, that's another 15%, unless they change. I don't know if they're changing the artifact. Okay, here's what I kind of want to see, though. Wait, Awaken skill change. Oh, that's probably just from the 5-star Awaken thing. Okay, so... Revives a dead ally with recovered magic and grants immortality for 1 turn. When a target is not dead, grants immortality and 2 random buffs for 3 turns. Revives a dead ally with magic and grants attack buff and immortality for 1 turn. When a target is not dead, grants attack buff and immortality for 3. Come on, I like the random buffs. That would make Shooting Star Katie actually good. Please don't. You're just making her a boring Soul Weaver. Healing Magic dispels all debuffs from the ally and the caster. But she already did that, though, didn't she? Dispels all from the ally and the caster. Yeah, she already dispelled all. Wait. Well, then what's the change then? Dispels all debuffs from the ally and the caster, increases both health ratios, higher the 2 addition, and then increases on top. Then wait, what's the change here? With Healing Magic dispels all debuffs from the ally, and the caster increases both health ratios to the highest of the 2, additionally recovering health and unaffected by decreasing effect. But she already dispels all debuffs. Then what was the change? You just randomly we need to make sure that it looks like a change, so we're going to do this even though it's not actually a change. There's no physical change. Wait, and how is this? Shooting Star Katie's reliability of her resurrection magic has been improved. How? How is her reliability of the she already did resurrection already as it is. The only thing you did was you dropped her 2 random buffs, which was the most fun part of Shooting Star Katie's. You used her for the buffs plus the immortality for 3 turns. You didn't use her as a reviver. If you wanted a reviver, you just would pick Destina, or even Ruel, or Blood Moon Haste, or Paquis Ravi, and do damage while you're also reviving. You're not using her specifically for her revive, or Maid, obviously. You use her for the immortality with two buffs, and you put that onto an ER unit. Now they're dropping that for just attack buff. which is what every other unit in the game could pretty much already give them. So there's no longer any real use besides for obviously the three turns immortality is huge, but the effect of gain random buffs to a lively ally were changed to attack buff instead. That's boring. That makes her a boring unit now. She's no longer a fun unit to play. The skill also grants attack and yeah. Okay, I guess that's kind of cool because like now they can be revived with attack. But wait, don't they usually get revived with the 2 buffs though? Oh, okay, when you revive a dead ally, they only have immortality. Now they're gonna be revived. When they're dead, they're just revived with attack buff. Okay, I can see that kind of like, you know, you're reviving a dead ally with attack buff now is nice, but like they could have just kept the 2 random buffs for when they're not dead. Or hell, you could have just made the 2 random buffs for when they get revived too. Oh, their AI has been... Wait, is that what the other thing was? The skill will prioritize allies with the highest attack. Oh, wait. No, that's... I still don't get what's this change here. I don't get what this change is. Like, there's literally no change, right? It's just... All dispels all debuffs from an ally and the caster, and increases both health ratios to the higher of the 2. Additionally, recovering health. And the only thing they circle this, but it's literally right here. It dispels all buffs, debuffs. So it's like, what was the change of this? I guess it was an AI change, but they had to include it here. They couldn't just include the AI thing here, but they did because again they want to make you think, oh, we're actually buffing Sheen Star Case. No, I straight up call it a freaking nerf. I would prefer the two random buffs over the increased attack. If you want to change the 2 random buffs to make it a bit more, you know, good on all of them, then sure. But you don't remove it. That's her key identity. The Awakening skill has been changed from Resurrection Magic to Spark, allowing her to grant attack increase and immortality to allies through rejection. That was a change. So you just wanted to add, I don't know. Let's see what this one is. This is the free artifact that gives you 6. Wait. Oh, this is Yuna's artifact. Increases damage of AoE attack by 8 to 16, and they're just adding 10% crit chance. You know, there's not like there's only 5-star artifacts that really need help. Nope. Just buff. Let's just buff a unit an artifact that was actually semi decent, just didn't have a good use for it. To this. Again, could have buffed creation and destruction, you know, Lilibet's artifact, but again, Smilegate really hates Lilibet, so because, you know, again, it has been like almost 3 years since you got buffed last time, so of course. After using a non-attack skill twice, increases combat. Okay, this is Ahmed's artifact. After using a non-attack skill twice, increases comparison of the ally with the highest attack by 10 and 20 with a 50 to 100% chance to increase critical hit damage. Oh, they just made it basically, if you have it max, it's 100% now. Oh my god. So, let me just say this though. The only one here that could be arguably like game breaking that they had to push it back 2 weeks. Remember, they pushed this one and they pushed the last one back 2 weeks. Because they didn't want it to affect the World Championship and stuff. Alright, well, let me just say this. That's a whole load of bullcrap. Because last balance patch had, like I said, had 3 nerfs. They fucking nerfed Yuna, they nerfed Camila, and they nerfed Aether. No, and then like, yeah, Riley was okay buff because now he can't be stripped. He can't have evasion stripped. And like Spirit, you know, Sylvan Sage Vivian was the only one that was remotely good. Last balance patch. I mean, again, the Rylet buff was good too, but it's like you're not going to see Rylet all the time either. Like he wasn't going to potentially ruin the World Championship. Sylvan Sage Vivian, no, not really, but she did become a solid unit. None of these units changes are going to make or break them and make that like World Championship ruined or something like that because everyone's going to pick them. And before you say Lionheart Sermia is literally just being built around being able to use her through Elvira and Politis. She's not actually getting fully buffed. They're just making it so that she actually can be played through all these anti-fighting spirit or resources. So like that's basically like saying, oh, she's gonna break the meta. She's gonna break the world championship. Like, well, no, that's just basically meaning that you can actually play her now when your opponent has a freaking Elvira or a Politis. So no actual change of it has been actually made of this. Like no damage zone increase, nothing like that. She basically does the same thing than what she did before those two units got introduced, basically. So it's not going to be a make or break thing. Judge Kisei is just another fucking cleave unit, when she always has been. So yeah, but I don't think this is going to make or break her either. I mean, maybe it is because she is getting damage dealt, but then again, they nerfed her damage when you did these changes because they want to make her a bit more of a supportive unit. So maybe they're just putting back the damage. Again, was not going to be enough to break World Championship. Pirate Captain Flan, I have no idea, honestly. They're giving her increased hit resistance instead of the built-in, like, Arya's ability. So it's like, maybe, because then she's insanely annoying to hit. Her and Navy Captain Landy just means that you literally cannot crit Pirate Captain Flan. Well, I don't think it works, like, additive. I think it's, like, 70% and then 50%. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, it's... I don't know. It's going to be annoying to hit. And then, like, okay, Abigail maybe would be... I don't know. She's basically just the RBG version of Senya. So... But I don't think she doesn't cleanse herself, though, obviously. She just dispels the debuff from the enemy in the back. Or the ally in the back. But, like, Alencia definitely isn't enough to break the game. Break the World Championship. I'm not even sure if she might see play. But, like, they were being very careful of Valencia, apparently. I mean, this would be nice, though. And I'll say it right now. Shooting Star Arcade is a fucking nerf. She got rid of the only reason I wanted to play her, really. Was the Immortality for 3 buff, the 2 buffs and Immortality for 3 turns. Now she just attack buff and Immortality for 3 turns. Like, okay, cool. So I can't just randomly get evasion buff to someone, or I can't randomly get Gab now. I just stuck with attack buff, who I'm probably going to have attack buff with Maid Chloe or some other unit anyways. Because a lot of units in the game have attack buff. So I'm just, the only use of me is having Immortality for 3 turns. And then, like, these 2 changes, it's like, okay, this is way more consistent now. Cool, I guess. I mean, it's not like this still wasn't already a good artifact that you need, and you should have worked on, well, I don't know, like 4 or 5 or 6 other freaking artifacts that was, like, insanely, stupidly unusable. Nope. This artifact was already good, but buff a little bit more. This artifact was already good, but no one really played it because it's a freaking Ranger artifact. And if you're playing a Ranger artifact that is not Gaian Light, like, what are you doing? You only, obviously stuff like, drink you have to use with, SSB and stuff like that, or using stuff like Misha specifically. I like Misha and Brysiri myself, but, like, yeah, I gotta see what everyone's. All right, I'm gonna look for some of these, and I'm gonna call it. So, Pervert. This is the nerf. For aggressive strategies don't benefit from anything you have added. P5 with 4,000 attack, and none of that is usable for me. Other than that, Death Break, which is. That's true. Yeah, she is losing her extra turn. I mean, I don't consider it a nerf for Pirate Captain Flan. This is a bit weird, though. Wait. Oh, yeah, so she is actually technically losing her effectiveness buff. She's getting it in her Time to Pillage, though. But that's when you use S3, right? Can I trigger critical hit when this enemy has a buff after using... Oh, this is a passive. When an enemy has a buff after using a skill... Oh, it's after you use a skill. Oh, wait, that's you have to use the S1 before, right? Yeah, after using execution when the catches a buff. So now you can get that buff when using S3, but that's gonna happen usually after. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. This actually kind of is a nerf in a way. She's losing her base 50% effectiveness. So that means that everyone's like, let's see, because mine's at 180 something effectiveness. It's gonna go down to 130 effectiveness. And that means so you get this when you use a skill when the target has a buff. But it's like, okay, now that means if they don't have a buff, I don't get my 50% effectiveness. So I'm only gonna be 130 effectiveness, which would still hit most things obviously. But if it's like closer to 300 ER, I'm not gonna hit it. And now you don't have the extra turn to go for it now. And grants pillage and increases effectiveness to all allies. This is kind of annoying though, because this actually makes her kind of more fun too, because it grants pillage to the allies as well, which other than gives them effectiveness, it gives them the ability to steal one buff. So you can be your whole team stealing a buff. That's okay. That's kind of cool though. Again, she didn't need a buff at all though, so that's why I kind of agree with this person. Like, why you should just buff someone else. Actually, you get the nerf out for her and not a buff. That's true. They did buff Fallen Cecilia. That was another one that you could have easily buffed everyone in the game. Well, I wouldn't say everyone in the game, but like pretty much a lot of people are saying that she should have been buffed. She was the fucking portrait of this world championship, and you didn't buff her. People kept saying like, oh, they're not buffing Fallen Cecilia because they didn't want her. They didn't want her to like overtake like world championship type of thing. They want her to be the most broken unit in the game. They want to wait to after the championship. Well, this would have hit after the championship. Instead, Pirate Captain Flan. Why? Yeah, so her survival is on a coin flip. I mean, you can always just have an Aureus on you, but Aureus user, but yeah. Or just die to... Well, Gala S1 won't one-shot her unless you're that squishy. Buff duration in S3. Okay, I can see that. But, yeah. Don't belong to the people who complain about everything. But if you ever... Yeah, they're kind of ignoring her. What? Wait, has she ever been buffed since I started playing the game? I don't remember if she has. Like, because once she's out, she was meta for quite a bit. So obviously, once she's meta, I'm not gonna buff her like Charles when he got what. It seems like they're just nerfing. I also, like I said before, I count Shooting Star Arcades as a nerf as well. So. I don't consider the Pirate Captain Flan a nerf though, but I'm not really a Pirate Captain Flan user though, so it's just now you kind of have to readjust to her and like use her with Aureus holders and stuff. You can't just rely on her built-in damage share. You're gonna have to use her with that. But like, it's still 70% crit resistance though. But it does mean that she is destroyed by Lone Crescent Bologna. It also means that Pirate Captain Flan into Navy Captain Landy will be kind of a funny matchup though, because you're like, oh, you can't crit the Landy. Like, well, I mean, you can't crit it with the Pirate Captain Flan anyways. Not an aggro unit. Like everyone's just talking about the Pirate Captain Flan. The Legacy buff is good. Just I don't know if that's gonna make. I don't know if you're gonna start seeing her. Abigail, you 100% will see for sure. I think her, like I said, her change was very short, but like it doesn't matter. Getting built-in effectiveness on her S3 is pretty huge, and then getting the ability to cleanse the back row when they get procced into it means that you will get her immortality through. Which now, yeah, so that's a huge thing for Abigail. Which is cool because I wanted to use Abigail more. So, yeah, like I said, I agree with everyone else with Fallen Cecilia. Like I said, I don't consider it a nerf, but for Flan. But again, I don't really use Flan a lot, so maybe it does a nerf to her. I think it makes her a little more fun, but it's like, again, I still think they should just not do that change overall because she didn't need it. Yeah, but now my ER gang is going to be fine against Fire Captain Flan, at least for the first initial turn, though. Oh, this steals 100%, is it? Okay, I wasn't paying attention to that. That's actually pretty good, though. That means your allies get a 100% chance with an effectiveness buff, but... Wait. Oh, okay. I thought they said they removed the dual chance for Sirmia. I'm like, no, they didn't change anything, right? But they're just saying like, there's no way to stop ML Sirmia. I mean, you can just kill her. I mean, there's a lot of units with pen. I mean, okay, Sirmia plus Imperial Illinout is pretty hard to kill, though. All right. Like I said, definitely yes, definitely will be. I'll have to see on Lencia though. I mean, Lencia's changed definitely seems like a good one for sure. Like, I just don't know if she's gonna be like really good. Like, I don't know if she's gonna be. I don't know if she should be seen in the meta because like, how do you play Alencia who is like a damage dealing like HP bruiser, right? But against DD against Death Dealer Ray and Urban Shadow Shu, one hit and she's dead. Not dead, but one hit and she's useless. Whereas Abigail, at least, even if you injure her a lot, though, she still at least offers the ability for your backline to be safe. Valencia, it's like the only thing she really offers at that point is a full strip on her S3 into defense buff for your team, which is nice for sure. But like with everything in the game, everything in the game has some form of cleanse now. Cleanse. Everything in the game has some form of strips now. So even if you give your team defense buff, your opponent's probably just gonna have a ram stray strip in their kit, and then you're like, well, the defense buff was useless. On top of the fact that it being a defense buff with so much built-in, with so much units in the game that has built-in pen that just ignores defense anyways, kind of makes it like, well, defense isn't really the most greatest buff to give your allies when your opponent has like Galililius or like Janua, or insert any other unit like Watcher Shuri, Straze. I mean, again, you could always have Empyrean Illinois on your team, and then the Alencia would make will be a lot more scary. But yeah, this is true. They went for the effectiveness route. Where's the effect resistance balance patch now? Well, all right. That has been long enough. That's my views though. Basically, sum it up. Do I think these units are gonna start seeing play in the meta? Lionheart Sermon definitely. There's no actual way to completely stop her. Like you can't just stop her with resources reduction stuff. You know, with Paladus or Elvira. Now that means Elvira is really only useful. Well, Elvira is still useful into like Navy Captain Landy, Abyssal Euphine. Design a little bit. So does that mean next balance patch they're gonna do that change to design a little bit, right? Make her not rely on. No, because it'd be weird how that would work for her though. They'll probably find a way to make it work for her. They have to. Like she desperately needed it more than Lionheart Sirmia. But like yeah, it's definitely gonna be really good. I don't know about Judge Kisei. We'll have to see exactly how much damage she gets, but in the end, she should be a freaking cleaving unit anyways because they love giving cleave everything in the game. Pirate Captain Flan. Some say it's a nerf, some say it's it's whatever. I think it's allowing you to have the other units be more fun too. Because I don't think she gave effectiveness buff to the allies too. So, I mean, and the whole idea of giving your allies the ability to steal is pretty huge too. Stealing buffs. Again, we'll have to see though. Abigail 100% would start being picked now for sure, because now that means you can't stop her from giving immortality to the back row and vampirism to the back row. Plus the fact you can it would full cleanse now, which means it stops all the debuffs on him too. Obviously you can just seal Abigail too, but like Valencia, it is a buff, but I do not think it'll be enough. You will see her more. Okay, so you will see her, but I don't think she's gonna be like picked a lot. You're not gonna see her a lot, but you probably will see her more. Especially if this goes higher than 20%, like if this is increased via her S2 molas, because I don't know what her S2 molas are. I think it's just damage on the S2, right? Yeah, I think it's just damage. Which I guess you don't want to increase this though. But I mean, this is pretty huge because now, because I think I do have her artifact on her. Well, actually, you know, this is pretty huge actually, because like I have her artifact on her because she's like 90% hit crit chance on her, but they're giving her 20% hit, crit in her passive, and they're giving her the ability to CR push in her passive. Which is literally what her artifact did. Her artifact gave her like 20% crit chance and increases counter rangeness when you do a extra attack. Which made me question. I'm surprised they didn't just buff her artifact then, or like, you know, change her artifact then, because they're just tossing her artifact in. But I guess that means now you can use her with her artifact and then have 40% crit chance and then get pushed up by 30% CR. And that gives you so much more window there's so much window. This is the part that's actually kind of interesting too, like when attacking. So yeah, so it's actually in her mind's eye. Probably guess they just didn't want that much of a text for that one skill. But I mean, like the only thing you really care for. What they should have did, they should have gave her effectiveness in her S3 ability then, because like I said, you're missing that 50% hit effectiveness for the initial S3 now. But I mean, in the end, what is 50 effectiveness really going to do though? If you're hitting something that already has a lot of ER, you're not going to land it. Obviously, even something with 100 ER, well, now with something with 100 ER, you're not landing it, but that's fine. Everything else in the game has strips, so just rely on those strips. Yeah. Shooting Arcades is a straight up nerf. I will say this 100%. I don't. The main reason why you would use her, other than the fact that she can revive or that she can have 3 turns of immortality, was also the buff. The random buffs was the most fun part of her, and that's what made her really fun. You're really good. Because you give that to like another high ER unit, like a lot of people kept doing Kayron, Fire Kayron. I would even do it sometimes on ML Kayron. So he would have all those, you know, fun buffs plus immortality, so you can't kill him, and he's gonna obviously have a lot of ER, so you can't strip him. Nope. Now it's just attack buff. Like, great. I don't care. Like, Fire Kayron already gives himself attack buff. My ML Kayron's full tank. He doesn't need attack buff. So yeah, this is a nerf. Not Valencia. This is a nerf. This is a whatever buff, and this is okay. Cool. It's more consistent. I mean, if you have it plus 30. So yeah, not worth waiting an extra 2 weeks, or I should say an extra month though, because they pushed back the other one. You know, the last balance patch for 2 weeks too. So we should have technically had this a month ago. So yeah, which means this meta is not going to change at all unless they do something crazy during the World Championship and all those reveals and stuff. But anyways, I'll see you guys next video. I'll upload this in the middle of the day today, so yeah, but I'll see you guys.